Press A button to activate Spirit Gloss mode.
We are two best friends who happen to be psychic mediums.
We do readings, we teach, we mentor, and we love to laugh.
Yeah, and you know what? We love to cry too, because we're heartstring pulling mother truckers.
Warning, this is rated E for explicit, so if you don't like the word fuck, you should probably turn your ass around.
Turn it around. Don't look back, run. But if you're sticking around, it's time for another episode of I'm a Medium.
Ask me how. Hello, Matthew Tao. Do you have a mug?
Oh, I do, Dana Willey. Welcome to the show. Oh my goodness, somebody sent me this today. I just got it in the mail.
Somebody sent us matching little mugs because we twins, and they're adorable. If you're not watching us on YouTube, it's got our logo on it, and it's got little pictures of us. So we're gonna sip some tea and talk with you guys today. So whomever sent this to us, we appreciate you and love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my God, is Drew Barrymore here?
Oh my God, yes. On the set of ET, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Dana Willey. Love you, Mike.
Love you, Minette.
Love you.
So Matthew Tao, we have to talk about something because it keeps on coming up over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's spiritual boundaries, personal boundaries. Feeling overwhelmed by spirit being around all over the time. I can't sleep at night. I can't go to the grocery store. Personal boundaries, feeling overwhelmed by other people's emotions. Like there's a lot to cover here. And I feel like, and I don't know if it's this time of year because we're fresh off the holidays or what it is, but it always seems to come up this time of year. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a really important topic to talk about as far as saying no, boundaries, all of that, both personally and spiritually, because I think a lot of those things kind of go hand in hand.
They do. I mean, I think what's cool about our friendship is that we have two different stories when it comes to this. I mean, I wouldn't say I was as empathetic and as an empath as you were. Mm-hmm. I think that, it's two different journeys and two different lives. And I think that we can both bring an insight to it because you have very hardcore boundaries. And that's something that I think that you had to establish, and I'll let you tell your own story. I don't want to tell your story, but for me, I've always had them. And I think that was a protective mode that I've had. It's not that I'm not sensitive. It's just that I don't like people in my space and I just don't like it. And I've always been a lone wolf and a lone survivor of having to be a loner. And so it's not that I was a loner because I was like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed by everybody's emotions. No, I was just a loner because I was a weird kid. So I've learned to just let people in and out and create boundaries that way, where I think we both have a different point of view on this. So I think it's a fantastic topic to have, that we can bring two different points of view, because I don't think that everyone that's going to be listening to this episode is going to be able to relate to one or the other.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Let's deep dive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I want to say to all of you is that as we talk about this, you see the girl in front of you that has the rock solid boundaries now. But I was not that person for a long time. I come from being very empathetic, very codependent. That was basically my life for probably until 2018. It was what can I do to help everybody else? What can I do to make everybody else comfortable at sacrificing my own well-being? And stepping into my spiritual development in 2017, we've kind of talked about our development stories. My spirituality, my abilities have always been around, but I suppressed them for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then in 2017, it was we're ready for you to work. And then all of a sudden, it felt like very much overnight, I was overwhelmed. And it was I felt spirit around all the time. And it was not only was my life imploding around me, but I had spirit around all of the time. And you want to talk about not having boundaries. I had 0 boundaries in my personal life, and I had 0 spiritual boundaries. And I felt overwhelmed. And I just felt like the walls were crushing in at all times. And I didn't feel like I could breathe. I didn't feel like I could go to the grocery store. I didn't feel like I could be around anybody without like feeling everything that they were feeling. I didn't feel very safe in those moments. I didn't feel like I could sleep at night because I felt like I was getting woken up all night long by spirit. So there was a lot going on there. And so I share that with all of you to, first off, just normalize it. So if that's something that you're experiencing for yourself, you're totally normal. And if you look at me and you're like, well, Dana's got these rock solid boundaries and that doesn't bother her, it took work to get here. So, part of the reason we wanted to make this podcast for you guys today is to help give you some tips and tricks to start you on the road to helping you build some boundaries in your development journey.
I think, so enjoy this episode because it's going to be a lot in a small amount of time. So buckle up, kids. I think first we need to start at the starting point of like what energy is, like what is our energy, what's not our energy, and like maybe we can go over like an opening and closing, but we all have a thing called an aura, right? An energetic field around your body, and your soul is part of that aura. Usually it'll, like for me, I always describe my soul as in the chest. I don't know why I always go here, but it just feel like the soul lives in the center of your body. So whether you are its solar plexus. Oh, ooh. Dana, I'm learning, girl. It's 20 episodes in, and I know what the solar plexus
Fire.
is. Or it's a heart space. But for me, I work out of my heart space. So I expand my energy and I contract my energy. So that way I'm open and I'm closed. Usually with new mediums or new psychics or empaths, their energy is like always out. It's out. It's like walking around with this big, giant, a visible bubble around you, and you're bumping bubbles with other people's bubbles, and you're just starting to stick, right? So you might get an emotion from somebody, you might get a psychic hit from somebody, you might get a spirit come into your bubble, and imagine just bumping bubbles with every single person around you. That's over fucking whelming. And I can imagine how exhausting that was for you.
Yeah.
Like, I really can't. I was the Fort Knox where my bubble was inside and I'm like cold as fuck. But I had to practice expanding it out. I had to become sensitive and empathic, and by pushing out my energy. So whether you're on the spectrum of energy open or energy closed, we want to make sure that you actually understand what energy is yours and what's not, because that overwhelms everybody, Dana.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes to us about empathic stuff.
Absolutely. So the first key question that you always want to ask is when you are feeling overwhelmed by an emotion. First off, does it come out of nowhere? That's like a big thing for me is, did this come out of nowhere? And, things can come out of nowhere. The second thing is like, can you name why? The why behind the emotion. Like if you're angry if you just get angry, can you name why you're angry? Being able to name the why behind the emotion will also if I can name the why, then I can understand that it's mine.
So understanding what your energy is and what's not your energy is going to really help you understand where you're going to fall. So like what I always like to do is journal. I think journaling around your emotions and journaling around what's yours and what's not yours is fantastic. And even doing like a mood journal, and you can do this on your phone. Like what I'm going to challenge you to do is we all have the notes app, right? If you're an iPhone user, great. If you're not an Android user, I can't help you. Is create a note that has 1 through 31. And every single day, I want you to put an emoji. Anytime that you have a feeling like you're feeling somebody else's energy, I want you to put an emoji. And then I want you to put where you were at. And then I want you to maybe a couple minutes later put an emoji right next to it of what you feel like your actual energy is. And make some notes. And it's a really great way to do like a mood journal to understand of being like, I was upset when I went to the store. Then I started bawling, and that was me. I went to the store and I went to go buy my grapefruit because I loves me a good grapefruit with a little bit of, just powdered sugar on it. And all of a sudden I got really angry out of nowhere, but I was fine all day long. But a gentleman was standing right next to me and he seemed angry. So was that my energy or was that not my energy? Like, pulse checking yourself is just healthy, even if you're not doing this to be a medium or to be an empath, but just pulse checking. Where the hell's you at today?
Yeah.
Where are you in this moment? Do you have any suggestions on pulse checking or anything like
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. So it's building that awareness, right? So whatever works for you, I think that's a great recommendation, Matt. And that's something we always have our phone around us, right? Always, you can use a voice memo app too, if that works for you. But really doing those pulse checks throughout the day of like, what am I feeling? What is mine? If something comes in, where did it come from? Was there somebody around me feeling, and we don't want to tap into anybody else's energy, but being aware, it's just, we want to start building awareness around what's happening. And I think it's like not just being a bystander in your life anymore, but being an active participant in this. And what Matt and I hope to do in this podcast as a whole, but specifically in this podcast, is to empower you, and not to have you be like, I'm being overwhelmed by this, but give you tools to take control over this, because you are so powerful. So I just want to empower you. We also have to remember that it is not we can care about other people's emotions and what they're going through, but it is not our job to carry their emotions. Because, Matt, you're my best friend and I love you dearly, and we hold space. We call it holding space. Like when one of us is going through something, right? But I never, like, if you're really angry about something, it's not my job to carry your anger.
No, you just listen to me.
I just listen.
Are you done, Muffin? Right? I think that's a beautiful thing to do, but not own it. Because how many times, like, before you learned your boundaries, was somebody upset and all of a sudden it ruined your day?
Yes.
And you took on their emotions. Did that happen to you a lot?
Oh, all day, every day. I felt almost dirty. And I want to, like, I felt so dirty because I was carrying everybody else's stuff.
You felt heavy and bleh.
Yeah. And it's not mine to carry. And it doesn't mean that we don't love people if we're not carrying it for them. It's not our job. We can care, but not carry.
I love that. So what's some like good maintenance that they can do? Just quickly. I mean, we have an empath class coming up, folks, on March 1st?
Yeah.
So we're not going to give away the whole secret,
Yeah,
but we're going to give you a couple things that you can do to maintain up until then when we see you on March 3rd.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, and we're going to be parking that empath class on our website. So that will be there all the time. And that's just a beautiful resource. So I like bringing ritual around this. And it doesn't have to be like some magical thing, but I think sometimes when we bring intention around something, or like it can be as simple as washing your hands, and just visualizing the water washing away something that isn't yours. For me, getting in the shower and visualizing the water washing away what isn't mine. I have a beautiful meditation that we'll put on Matt and Dana's YouTube page about clearing your energy. That's also part of our empath class. That's kind of helps clear your energy and build a protective bubble around you. Because you did talk about that bubble, right? If you don't have your like kind of a protective bubble around, you're kind of mixing your bubble around with everybody else's bubble. So having a protective bubble around you. But I do like that ritual, right? Of whatever that is for you. It could be writing down the things on a piece of paper that are coming up for you that is somebody else's. So let's say Matt and I are having a conversation, and Matt is dumping on me everything that's going on in his life, and I'm feeling like heavy about it, like I'm holding it. I'm going to write it all down on a piece of paper, and then I'm going to rip it up into pieces and throw it away because it's not mine to carry. So you can do something like that. You can write it down on a piece of paper and rip it up and throw it away because it's not yours to hold. That. So think about different things that you can do that are like almost ritualistic, that have a visual component to it, or something where you're tangibly touching it or feeling it. That really helps add like a component to it that makes it feel real.
So you're essentially looking for a release. Mm-hmm. You're trying to release. I think one of my early mentors, I'm going to say her name because she's a fabulous lady. Her name is Sharon D'Angelo. She taught me a couple of things that like you always pretend that you have like the bubble, and then the bubble has ooze or slime on it. So when people's emotions come onto you, it slides right off. You could even pretend that there's mirrors inside your bubble, that like if it's coming at you, it just reflects back off. You can pretend it's got molasses in it. I
always do a visual where it's like a sparkly
thing, right? So you can have a visual. Your goal is to release. You can even, I've seen people write their feelings from other people on toilet paper and then flush it down the toilet. I really do the shower thing. I think like if I'm like jarred or upset, even if I know it's my own energy, not that I'm trying to suppress it and deal with it, but just to make it manageable for myself, I'll go in the shower and just let like the worry wash away, but not the problem. Right? So the anxiety of it can go down into the drain, but the problem will be there for me to deal because I'm a tough broad. But you know what I mean? Like I think anything that we can do to maintain our mental health is fantastic. So whatever works for you, put it in the comments section below on YouTube and let us know what works for you.
Yeah.
Tell us. We want to know.
Yeah, because you're going to help other people when they read those comments as well. So
what works for you might work for somebody else.
Absolutely. And you know what we're getting to, so this is just good self-care. This is good self-development. And I always encourage therapy. If you're having a hard time navigating this on your own, get some therapy. Therapy is fantastic. I'm a huge proponent of therapy. But a big reason why Matt and I, again, use this as a foundation for our psychic beginnings and mediumship beginnings is it is really important for you to understand what is your energy and what is spirit's energy and what it would be your sitter's energy or whomever you would be reading, because differentiating that is a very important part of your development. And also when you're overwhelmed with all kinds of emotions and everything going on, I always say everything coming in from spirit is actually very subtle. And when you have all of these other big, huge emotions around, it's hard to pick up those subtleties of everything else coming through. So
you have to know your own energy, Dana. You have to. You've got to. Sorry to interrupt you. I just needed to reinforce what you said, girl, because you have to know what you feel like. You want to say it again for the kids in the back?
You have to know what you feel like. So just another little tip. When you need to know and get back into your own energy, breath. Breath is so powerful to get back into our body. Matt, go into your breath thing really quick because your breath thing is amazing.
I learned this, and I'm going to tell you where I learned this from. I learned this from that TV show Surviving Death, where the lady was talking to all of her clients, but these were people that had lost people, had gone to grief, and they were starting to feel really overwhelmed. And she said, take 2 minutes to breathe. You want to breathe in to the count of 4, hold in on the count of 8, or hold in on the count of 2. I'm sorry. So breathe in on 4, hold on 2, and slowly breathe out on 8. And if you do this for 2 minutes, she said it was better than Xanax. She was like, it's phenomenal. So I tried it. I was like, I'm going to do it. It works. It works. Yes. Because you're sending oxygen into yourself. You're taking a moment to pause. You're taking a moment to recenter. And 5 deep breaths puts you in a meditative state. That I know. So meditation, and that's a great segue as well, is also another tool to help you. And knowing what you feel like and practicing and playing with your energy of expanding and contracting is also like sitting in the power. Oh, we got to sitting in the power meditation. So sitting in the power is a passive meditation. So unlike normal like guided meditations, like we've talked about this in previous podcasts, this is more about feeling what your own energy feels like and knowing what you feel like. And I always say it's like the Spider-Man of meditations, because you essentially cast your energy out like a little spider web, and when something changes and clings to your little spider web, you're like, oh, something's different. Something's changed. But you can't do that until you know what your own energy feels like.
Yeah. Well, I always say the first part of sitting in the power, I always call it swimming in Lake U, because you're really, the first part of sitting in the power is just your energy. You're not doing anything else but focusing on you, your own energy, and expanding that out. That's all you're doing.
I always pretend I want to know what the walls feel like as if it's me. I want to know what the floor feels like, the carpet feels like. I want to know what my pillow back there feels like. Because essentially, if we push out our energy, the room essentially becomes filled with us. And it is a crazy feeling, but it takes about like 10 minutes for your brain to settle down. So you're going to have this moment where your brain's going to be like, did you feed the dogs? Did you pay the bills? Oh my God. And you just have to acknowledge it and let it float away. But you've got to know and sit there for a while for it to actually work. It is a practice. It's not a perfection. So take your goddamn time with this. Work your way up. I know a lot of people are like, I can't meditate. And I'm like, why? And they're like, my brain won't shut up. And I'm like, okay, well, how long can you do it for? And they're like, 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, well, let's work to 15. But it's not a race. It's a marathon. So like if maybe for a month you do 10 minutes and that works for you, great. If then in turn you're getting to 30 minutes, you're my hero. And then when you're done, you're done. But knowing that and becoming really self-aware of what your own energy feels like, you're going to end up being a better medium. You're going to be a better empath. You're going to be a better person. You're going to be centered and grounded. And we love that for you. I love that journey for you. So please start meditating. Yeah. Start doing that.
Yeah. And sitting in the power. I love sitting in the power. That's such a powerful meditation. And we do have that on our website as well, or on our YouTube channel. But find one that you like. I always say, like, you know, we have one, we have our own, but there are plenty out there. Find one that you like.
You know which one's my favorite, right?
Tony Stockwell.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do it.
Surrender to the power. You know, it's really funny. It's after a while with meditation, Dana Willey, when you listen to the same voice over and over again. And I can tell you our viewers probably feel this even off of our podcast, because we get a lot of listens at night. I know we do. That we probably put people in a meditative state with our voice. But Tony Stockwell, man, I was watching a TV show that he was on, and he was doing like the psychic school, and he started talking, and I'd only been using his meditation for a while. It put me in a meditative state real quick. I was like, I was like, it was gone. It was over with. But that's what meditation can do for you. It's essentially making a flip and a switch of knowing what's yours and knowing what's not. Right. So like Tony Stockwell's voice can put me in a trance-like state just by hearing him say surrender. You know, to the power. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because we're shifting our awareness. We're meditating. Did we talk about journaling yet? I'm pretty sure we did.
We started talking about it, but we have to touch on it one more time. Would you all just journal?
Journal. And it doesn't need to be like, dear diary, Becky liked my hair today and I was 7th period. Like, it doesn't need to be like the Wonder Years journal. Okay. It can literally be having a great day. This is what happened. X, Y, and Z, see you tomorrow. Yeah. Like, it can be a bullet point. It can be a word.
It can be a word. A couple of other things is shifting your, like, when were you finding that you were shifting your awareness? When did you find? So if you're feeling overwhelmed at the grocery store, start writing about your experience at the grocery store. When did you find that you were feeling overwhelmed? Did you find that it was like 20 minutes into being at the grocery store? What part of it was it? Is it when you're driving? Like, start noting. Is it when you're doing dishes? Whatever. Start noting it. The other thing that I love doing is starting your day with an oracle card or a tarot card pool. You don't even have to know how to read it. Like, you can literally just pull a random card and be like, This, it's the color purple is making me feel very comforted, and it's making me think of my crown chakra, and it makes me remember that I need to call my friends today. Whatever it is, like, you don't even have to know how to read the tarot or know how to read oracle cards. Just use the imagery and, like, how is that resonating for you in your life right now?
Mm-hmm. You can even do a two-parter. I've seen people do it like they pull the oracle card or the tarot card in the morning, and then they make a note of what was on the card. And then at night before they go to bed, they recap their day of how that card showed up in their life.
Ooh, I love that.
Mm-hmm. So if, like, me and my three girls walking in a field with stars, and that happened to me, I'm going to journal it, right? Because that's a sign from spirit.
Yeah.
It's a sign from spirit. Let's go back a little bit, because I like to do mediumship for dummies here now. We're starting 2023 off right. We're going to dumb it down a little bit. Shifting your awareness is meaning going from one awareness of the physical world to the psychic world or mediumship world, or being aware of your abilities and being able to utilize them. So a really good psychic medium or a psychic or an empath can switch from one to another. But when you're a beginner, you're walking around always aware, and you don't always want to do that, because it's not healthy to be in other people's energy. It's not healthy to be in your abilities all the time, and it's not good to hang around the dead all the time. We need you to be you, as if you are in this world, in this moment, being mindful, being present here and now when it's appropriate. And I think with a lot of beginning mediums, they have this weird thing. I know Megan Elisa had mentioned this in a past podcast, but she was like, they always grab to reach if it's still there, like it's going to be taken away. And that's a huge fear, that like something is going to be taken away from you that you just love doing. It will always be there. It's never going to go away. Mediumship and spiritual work is the simplest thing that your soul knows how to do. It will not go away. So you don't need to go out when you're out in public and shifting into that awareness of whatever it is that you're practicing. It's just needless. You need to be human. It is not good to hang around dead people all the time, because then we neglect parts of our life.
Yeah.
We neglect stuff. And I can tell you, from a working medium, my partner's like, work-life balance, bitch. Right? Because it's so fun and so consuming, and it's who we are, that we always want to do it all the time, and it's not good to do. So,
well,
please.
We're here to be human. Like, we are souls living a human experience, and we're here to live that human experience. And the one thing that has always been imparted to me, and one of the biggest lessons I've learned through doing mediumship, is how short our time here is on earth, and how precious our time is here on earth. So live your life. You are here to live life. So spend it with people, do things, be human.
Yeah.
So there is time to do your spiritual practice. There is time to do mediumship. There is time to do psychic work, all of that stuff.
I'm not sure I understand.
It's called boundaries, bitch.
That is...
Siri don't know boundaries, but you know what? We're going to go there next. Boundaries are amazing. I just want to say that. I'm trying to be professional, Willie. Siri got involved. She got heated. She's like, I don't understand.
You know what? There's somebody in their car right now listening, and they're like, I don't understand. And
but here's the deal. Okay, so we're going to segue. How many hats a day do you wear, Dana?
a ton.
So you have work Dana, you have mediumship Dana, you have wife Dana, mom Dana, exercise Dana. You're like Barbie of mediumship, right?
I have outfits for every single one of them.
But that doesn't mean that you need to be all of them at once. You need to be able to shift from one to another to be present and to be mindful of whatever you're doing, right? So that's where I had to learn, because I'm work Matt, I'm medium Matt, and I'm partner Matt. I only wear 3 hats. I need to be able to shift from one to another so I can give my full attention to whatever I'm doing. And I think when we are beginning this journey, and especially with our energy, we try to think that all 3 of them need to be present at one time. And that's where your anxiety comes up. That's where your frustration comes up. That's where you're bothered at night when you're sleeping comes up. That's where you can't go to the grocery store comes up, or be in large crowds comes up, because you're wearing all three hats. Girl, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
So start compartmentalizing and creating boundaries so that way you can have safety. So Dana, let's go over like rule number 1. What's a good boundary that they can set?
So first off, I love working hours. I treat this like, let's talk about my waiting room. So going back to my story, in 2017, I felt really overwhelmed, and I go, what do I do? And this is when I started to learn who my spirit guides were. And a lot of my development was with my spirit guides. And I sat and I kind of yelled at them one night. And I was like, I am so tired. I am exhausted. Kind of echoing what you just talked about, Matt. I'm exhausted. I don't know what to do. And they said, create a waiting room. And I was like, okay. And I essentially visualized the waiting room from Beetlejuice. But you can make a waiting room that looks much nicer, right? And my waiting room does look nicer than Beetlejuice's waiting room. And nobody's really held there. Nobody's hanging out there or anything. But what that essentially did for me is there's a door. And it's up to me to open or close that. So you can visualize a door. You can visualize an open or close sign. And I set office hours. This is when I do my spiritual practice. I set the working hours of which I am open to spirit to work. And I worked with my guides and I said, do not bug me outside of office hours, which means if I am sleeping, do not wake me up. If I'm at the grocery store, do not bug me.
You know, it's really funny that the Dana, like, I'm now shifting my awareness in my head of what the music would be like in your waiting room.
I would love to hear what you think it is.
Like, I think it's like... And I can just see the spirits being like, with newspapers.
I actually did a TikTok where it was like hold music. And there's like a ghost.
Like elevator music, like JCPenney.
Yeah.
Like JCPenney circa 1990.
Yeah. We'll put it at the end of this episode so everybody can see it.
Okay. Cool.
But so it was essentially, and it worked. And here's the coolest thing, guys. You are in control. Again, this podcast is about empowering you. You guys are so powerful. You are in control. And if you haven't heard Matt and I say it before, you're going to hear it now. Spirit needs you more than you need them. They are going to follow your lead. They are going to say, okay, Matt is only open to work these hours. That's when I'm going to show up. So it was amazing. I was sleeping. I could go to the grocery store. They were leaving me alone. They would say, they knew that I was showing up for development circle on these nights, and they would show up. They always showed up when I shifted my awareness, and I said, I'm open. And I literally visualized opening the door, shifting an open sign or a closed sign to open, and I would let them in one by one. And again, that visual really helped. I really encourage you all to use visuals with this. It really makes a huge difference. It was a game changer for me.
Yeah. I didn't have a waiting room.
Yeah. What'd you do?
No, you know what I did? I put them in the corner, like baby.
Nobody
from
puts
Dirty
baby.
Dancing.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody put spirit in the corner. I do. This kid does. Because it was like, I always found that they didn't bother me when they were sleeping. I'd get hits at the grocery store. Like, I'd be around and I'd be like, oh yeah, that lady's grandma just passed away. But I'd shut it down because it's none of my business. I'm like, Nenya, see ya. But they bothered me when I was sitting in the power. Like, I would expand my energy out and I'd be like, oh guys, he's ready, he's coming. And they would come and talk to me when I was sitting in the power. And that is my fucking time. I'm selfish. I'm sorry. So I used to be like, to the corner. And I'd make them stand in the corner until I was done. And I swear to God, I think my spirit guide like had her arm on my chest and was like, "Not today, babe." You know, but it just helps me because it's like that's my time to get ready for it and get prepared. And I can't validate anything that they're going to say anyway. So why are we having this conversation? Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, and I think this is something that the general public and like beginning mediums realize, is that the spirit world is just like us. They are just us without bodies. Okay, so however we treat each other here, they just do it on the other side, just with a little bit more empathy and love. But they are still people with just out bodies. So they want to come up and they want to talk to us. They get excited because, let's face it, nobody here can talk to them. And so when somebody can, they're like, "Oh,
this one can hear us.
Hell yeah." They're like, "Hey, Jimmy, she's open." You know, so they're going to want to come. And so I always found that they were trying to pre-link with me. And I was just like, no, this is a boundary I'm putting down. You can wait until after. Now they don't. Now they're just kind of like, yeah, because they understand. They're intelligent. They understand that I'm here to help you and I'm here to work with you. But you can't be bum rushing me while I'm trying to do something that I need for myself to center myself so I can get accurate information for you. So you're going to end up playing by my rules because you know what? You need me more than I need you. I can just stop, get up, and be like, nope, we're not doing this. And good luck getting your message out. And you know what? I'm not the only, and that's another boundary that we need to talk about.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not the only goddamn medium in this world. If I'm out buying groceries, go find another medium. I'm out being grocery store mad. I need my grapes and my eggplant. Stop bugging me. I look eggplant parm. That's why I keep bringing up that reference. I just need to clarify that.
Does Sassy J need to make you some eggplant parm?
He doesn't like eggplant.
Oh.
Yeah. But I like that. So like if I want something at the store, I just want to go out and be myself. And I think a lot of people too, I think we get this question a lot too, and this just irritates the shit out of me when people are like, why don't you want to do it all the time? I'm sorry. What do you do for a living? Do you want to walk around and do that all the time? Because I don't, right? Especially like I always use financial advisor because that's kind of similar to mediumship. I mean, that's complicated. It's something that you need to train for. Imagine being a financial advisor walking around to random people in public and being like, do you pay your taxes? And did you file your I-9? And where's your W-2? That I think that person would look more crazy than me going up and be like, did your grandma die? Do you know what I mean? We don't want to be our profession all the time.
You know what I just thought about is like a photographer. It's like a photographer.
Yes.
Like what if like somebody was at the grocery store and just started taking your picture?
That is a good example. Like walking around just going, hold on, Dana, ready? Click, 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 click. You know how invasive that is? Oh my God, that's like paparazzi. Right? Imagine being that celebrity.
Yeah. We don't.
No pictures.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got to tell this story. When I was a comic book artist, I used to go to conventions and Margot Kidder was sitting there and she was at her booth and her assistant was with her and Sassy J took a picture of her and she put her hands up, no lie, and was like, $5, no picture. So Margot Kidder was always $5. No picture to me. But it's true. How invasive did Margot Kidder feel right there by somebody just taking a picture? So that's what it's like for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's just
like take my picture. Take my picture. Take my picture. No, there's, and it goes both ways. Like you would feel like invasioned.
You'd feel violated.
Stop invasioned me.
You're invasioning me, girl. Oh my God, I'm so invasioned. I'm just waiting for this invasion. You know, the aliens are going to come down and take my invasion. They're going to invasion the planet, Dana Willey. And then you know what Siri's going to say? I don't understand. But let's getting back to being.
So I just want to make sure we touch on this. This is why consent is very important. This is why if we're walking around the grocery store and we feel somebody's grandma, this is why we don't talk to them and tell them about their grandma, because it would be like just snapping a picture of a random person at the grocery store.
$5.
Yeah.
But it really is. It's invasive and it is not appropriate and not okay to take pictures of random people. That is a great analogy.
I know. I'm going to make a TikTok about it.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, for sure. Do it. I'm pretty sure you're going to get like. I'm going to like it all the time. But office hours, I know I've got notes on my side because I am scatterbrained today because I've had C4, so don't mind me. But let's get back to office hours being in conjunction with like circle. So that's a reason why development circles are consecutive the same every single time, because you're telling spirit to set up and being like, boom, boom, boom. They always show up.
Yep, absolutely.
So if you're a medium out there and you're saying that spirit doesn't show up, it's a lie.
Yep. Set off and development circle. Go to a development circle every single week. Set for me, it was like always like I'm going to meditate at 10 o'clock. I'm going to set a half an hour, 10 o'clock every single day. I'm going to meditate and sit with spirit, and they showed up every single time. And it's just like setting an appointment. So if somebody books a reading with me at 1 p.m., I know that's the appointment, and spirit's going to show up. So look at it like working office hours, and the more present that you are, if you're not think about if you're not spread thin and open 24/7, and you can be present in the moment, fully present, 100% in those moments that you're supposed to be with spirit, how more efficient you are and how more present you are, and it works so much better.
And you know what I found too? I'm generality. Visions, generality. That's a generality. Okay, so generality. What's that? I can't say it right now. Oh my god, I can't say it. This is a generalization. Thank you so much. Is that a lot of mediums and psychics have ADD? So take your meds. If you're on medication for like attention deficit disorder to be present, take your meds. That's a shift of awareness too.
Yeah, depression, anxiety. Everybody always asks, like, should I stop taking my meds? Does that block me? No, take care of yourself. Self-care is so important. Self-care is so important, and I can't emphasize enough. If you need therapy, go get you some therapy. My personal development and mediumship development were hand in hand, and I did it with a therapist, a lot of it.
And find a friend that can hold space.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Find
Support.
a group, and that's also another reason for circles, for development circles. So many of us feel so alone when we're going through this. Somebody asked us yesterday, like, how do our significant others feel about us doing what we do? And we're very lucky, both of us, that our specific J's are very supportive of us, but they don't get it.
No.
As much as they love us and support us and are our biggest fans, they don't get it. You don't get it unless you do it. So that's why you build community. And you can find that in development circles as well.
Yeah. And you know what? My grandma said it best. These people will get you on a soul level that nobody else will understand. Even your own family. So that is also a really great way to help with your energy, a tool to help shifting your awareness and boundaries and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
So I think
one other thing was we are going to be adding we're adding a lot of meditations to Matt and Dana's I'm a Medium Ask Me How YouTube channel, and one of them is going to be Matt's opening and closing. And I think that this is a fantastic thing to practice, because we did talk about sitting in the power, and that's expanding out. But I want you guys to, if you're open to it, practice listening to Matt's opening and then listen to Matt's closing.
Yes.
Meditation. And then I want you to journal on, I want you to do the opening, journal on what that felt like. And then I want you to do the closing and journal on what that felt like.
And you're a very powerful person. So I want to end it there. You are powerful. You are kind. You are smart. You will not finish the sentence or you'll get sued. But you're more powerful than you can imagine, and nothing can stop you with the intent that you put into it and the hard work that you put into it and the consistency that you put into it.
Yeah. And I want to also just remember, no is a complete sentence. And that goes for the human realm and the spiritual realm. If you don't want to be engaging in the spiritual realm, We just gave you some tips and tools on how to close down your energy, but simply saying no is a full sentence. Okay.
We exercised that the other day when Logan from IT came up to us and he's like, "Can I have a raise?" And we're like, "No." Complete sentence, Logan. But it's true. It's really, you don't need to do anything you don't want to do. So no, you don't even need an explanation at all.
And like
that
I said,
includes
humans or spirit. You simply say no, and they will honor that.
Yeah. Or you can do a hand motion.
Nay, nay.
Earn your keep. Showgirls. I'm going to do that to Spirit. Next time Spirit says something I don't want, I'm going to be like,
Showgirls.
You don't get this at the Cheetah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Dana Willey, I think that we have set the boundary that they need to do something to have it. We shifted our awareness for opening and closing. And not only that, I forgot what else we talked about because Siri doesn't know what she's talking about.
But we love you guys. You
Yes.
remember how powerful and amazing you guys are, and that we are all on this amazing journey together, no matter where you are on your journey. Celebrate where you are, figure out where you want to go, but you are amazing, you are powerful, and we're with you on this journey together.
Yeah. So live your best life. Earn your keep. And Dana, take it away.
You are the light of 100,000 Drew Barrymores.
Thank you so much, Dana Willey. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
It's like waiting for Dana to open up to do a mediumship reading.